All right, today's job, National Towing. We are printing some branding for a tow truck. It's a friend of mine's brother wanted his truck decaled up, printed on reflective iridescent material. When the headlights hit this at night, it's gonna pop. Install this weekend. Check it out. All right, we have the print laid out. It's done. Now we move it over to the laminator, add the protective layer, and then we trim it, or cut it, trim it, transfer tape it. You'll see. All right, so we had a little hiccup. The HP latex cutter does not detect reflective film well. It can't read the barcode to register where the cut needs to be, so it was freaking out. So I had to cut these manually by hand, which is taking way longer, but luckily it works. As you can see, everything's trimmed out, keeping the backing paper intact. Because I had to trim them by hand. I've been doing this for like 3 hours now. With a cutter, it would have took 5 minutes, peeling and weeding. So a little more work, but it'll be worth it. All right, cool. Just got to transfer tape it. As you can see, it can get really tedious. I'm using an X-Acto blade and just sitting there and following the path all the way around. Luckily, this isn't too technical of a shape. It's pretty straightforward. These letters are going to take a little time, but yeah, it's not too bad. All right, so finally wrapped up the trimming of these graphics. Took about 3 hours. Should have probably took 15 minutes from the machine. But like I said, the HP cutter does not like reflective film. It does something to the barcode registration system. So I had to manually cut these. Took longer, but turned out great. All right, so I'm sure this isn't the quote unquote right way to do it. It's the way I do it. A 4-foot level or anything really kind of just firm. Kind of give you a good grip on the transfer tape. 2 people would be great, but for one person, this does the job. Kind of helps you evenly spread the load on the transfer tape. Make sure you're kind of even. And you want to gently kind of let it relax on it. Take my 36-inch squeegee, work it outward. Always from the center out. I've got a little wrinkle there. See if I can get that sorted out. Get it up. Yep. I'm on a busy street, it's noisy. Yeah, the less wrinkles you have in your transfer tape, the better it's going to apply. All right, here's all the pieces. Printed, laminated, transfer taped, ready for install. Transfer tape just kind of gives it more rigidity, helps it keep its structural integrity as you're applying it. Otherwise the vinyl gets a little flimsy. So yeah, that's everything. Now, if you're curious about pricing and how I price these jobs out, it's by square footage and how much square foot of material you use, how much you want to charge for printing, and then install rate. I don't want to say I underbid this job, but I definitely did it for like a family price. I quoted them $2,500 initially, went down to $2,000 installed. That's removing the old graphics, cleaning, prep, and install. And honestly, this job's probably closer to like $3,000 to $4,000 on the low end. Yeah, it's a lot of material, it's a lot of work, and a good couple days worth of labor. All right, guys, we're on site with the heavy tow truck, getting ready. Got the truck pulled up, all the graphics ready and prepped. It's a pretty awesome machine. It's pretty slick. It's got a lot of pinstriping, a lot of paint work on it, but the new owner wants to rebrand it. It's got old branding on it, as you can see. So we're gonna get this thing done up. onto door 2, passenger side. What I do is I cut a channel or a slit into the backing paper to kind of give me a position point and a hinge point. So lay it down, it kind of gives you an area to tack it to. This side, yeah. I think. And you just want to work center out, getting the air out from the center. You don't want to trap any channels of air. This one's pretty small, it's not going to be that difficult. But. All right. Make sure you didn't trap any debris in there from the cut. Lock all the edges while you have the transfer tape because it kind of protects it. So right now you can be a little aggressive with your application. You're not risking damaging the decal. If you want to use the hard plastic side. Even though these graphics are laminated, they're still, you don't want to damage them, especially before the customer sees it. Got a little bubble there, but we're gonna poke that and do it right. All right, I took some extra time to lock in the position, measured everything out. So we're 2 inches from the furthest letters, 2 inches from this ridge right here to kind of give you like a justification point. Locked everything in with some tape temporarily. Now I'm just gonna cut the seam. I'm using this dual blade cutter. That cuts the channel in the backing paper. Probably gonna do it right here at the O. Centrally located point. Move my tape. So extra hole. Pull back on this side. Check. Make sure you're right where you should be. All right, now you have your hinge locked down, not going anywhere. Through. Pull your backing paper out. do, double check my measurements. I do have backup prints, but not gonna need it. 2 inches. All right, cool. So we're still in the right position. Perfect. Awesome. So, lock these in. We are gonna have some trimming to do around the handles. I'll do that afterwards. Lock all these edges in. Between the toolboxes, we will do a nice straight slit. Split the difference between those two. Alright, hold back the tape. Normally I have magnets to do this, but sometimes you forget things at the shop, and that's what it is. Get a better angle here. So I just do, after the hinge point, first I want to get this started nice and smooth, because sometimes you'll have trapped air bubbles in that hinge point. You want to make sure that's locked in, and then you just kind of sweep back and forth while holding the decal at like a shallow angle. You don't want it to stick prematurely. Just like anything else, it'd be nice to have a second set of hands, but when you're doing this yourself, you just kind of have to figure it out. This is the biggest graphic on the job, and usually the larger ones are a little cumbersome, hard to work. Okay, yeah. Now we are able to remove the transfer tape. I think I've got a little bubble here, but that's no big deal. We'll poke it. back so that you can work the material inside. And just ride the back of the handle, not the paint. That's it. All right, so to cut this bridge between two panels, you want to just lock in your edges, see where you're at. Take a straight edge. In this case, I just found a piece of straight wood. Normally I'd get a metal ruler, but this will work. Just give yourself, split the difference. Nice straight cut. Fingers starting slow. Don't want to trap any air. Take your squeegee and lock in the rest. Now when you walk around the graphic, it'll look like it reads around the corner. So we are going to post heat this and lock in all these edges. Check that out. Now when you see it from here, it completes the graphic, and the same from this side. All set.